Hey folks, well, the Leafs got smoked in Nashville, but there's been a few interesting changes to the old roster. We're going to break it all down for you right here on the OZone.
You're in the offensive zone, your place for Leafs hockey.
Hey folks, welcome to the OZone. That's Coach. That's KD, and I'm the Devo. We're here to talk all things Leafs. Let's quickly start with just recapping the old game against Nashville. What'd you see, KD?
Well, I think maybe we've kind of seen this before, right? We had goaltender tried hard, couldn't make the timely save. We saw the defensive core maybe not be as physical as they needed to be. The first line looked fantastic, and the second line got dummied. I think we've kind of seen that. We've kind of seen this game over and over again. It's like Groundhog Day. So it's not much to comment. We've been commenting the same thing since Christmas time. Same old, same old.
Yep. Okay, Coach, what happened?
I don't know if I can top that hard-hitting analysis, but let me get to it. Hey, so I was at that game, flew into Nashville for that game, and it was a great time. There's a couple pictures. Here's with the Paducah, Kentucky correspondent, Greg Beal. He came with his son. Good time. You know, we figured it out. I've known that guy 40 years. Oh,
really?
My gosh. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Father Time. He is... He's a real you-know-what. I've met this guy in the stands. Check out the jacket on this guy. What a beauty this guy is. I don't know who he is. Don't know where he's from, but I got a picture. And here's when there were tons of Leaf jerseys. You know, normally I like to see how Leaf Nation travels. Couple thousand, I bet you. Here's the oddest one I had, a Carlo Koliakovo. How about that, fellas? Got to be a relative, right? So, you know, good time, not a great game. Afterwards, though, it's nuts. If you ever want to go road tripping, Nashville is one of the cities you got to go to. This is a picture of Broadway. The rink is right on Broadway. Go out there. It's all cordoned off. It's like Bourbon Street. It's nuts. It was nuts. Really good time. And then, you know, for me, the game itself, believe it or not, we thought Shelgren was pretty solid. Like, he squares up the pucks really well. It kind of reminds us a little bit of Ed Belfour. That's what Beal was saying, in that everything hits him. Now, the problem is in that game, there's stuff going over the shoulder with him because he's just here and he takes everything in the crest, right? But he's still calm, cool, collected. Didn't lose his stuff after we gave up a few. So I don't know. It's promising. And look, Matthews is a beast. And I'm telling you, we kept an eye out for how many jerseys there were. Like, were there Philip Forsbergs there? Were there Ryan Johanssons? There were actually a bunch of those, bunch of PK Subbans. But there had to be 1,000 Matthews jerseys. By far, the player with the most jerseys was on the other team. It's awesome, man. Leaf Nation travels.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I'm with you on Shelgren. It's very odd that you give up 5 goals and you say the goalie played pretty well. A bit shaky on a couple of rebounds, and one of them actually went in on the side of the net there. But that's a bit nitpicky. He made most of the first stops, so you know, it is what it is. The Predators were the better team, I thought, and that really was the difference. I thought the Leafs showed some push, which is good. A little bit of grit in there, especially towards the end. And the score was not indicative of the effort. You know, when someone hangs 6 on you, usually it's a bit of a beatdown. But it is what it is. The Leafs second.
They got a chant there, right? So after every goal, the guy announces the goal by Philip Forsberg, whatever. And then afterwards, all the fans are like, you know, Shelgren, you suck. And then they say something else after, and I couldn't really make it out. So I turned to the lady beside me and I'm like, what do you guys say? And she tells me it's a little chant. We do that to the opposing goalie after every goal. Then Matthews tucks one in, and I lean over. I say, hey, do you have any ones for your own goalie? And she's like, no. But she was still in a happy mood because they were killing us.
They were killing us, yeah. Yeah, that second line, guys, we're going to get into it in a minute here. Trade deadline has come and gone, and it looks like we're kind of rolling with what we got, certainly up front there. And I think we're probably going to have to. The Ozone's probably going to have to put our collective heads together and wish something up the line there to Keefe, because we're in a little bit tight on that second line. Okay, folks, we're going to talk trade deadline at this point. Well, I guess I'll start with you, Coach. Coach, how do you want to break things down?
All right, so deadline's done. Good. We with 3 areas of need addressed, really maybe one and a half of them. So I do think they're a better team now than they were Saturday night, and I think there's still a huge question mark in goal. I'm not going to take this podcast to negative town, so I'm not going to talk about that. Dubas in his press conference today basically said this about the goaltending: "Man, I hope Campbell comes back." So that aside, if you look at the D, there's no doubt the D is improved. Here's a little showing of what game one's lineup against Montreal last year in the playoffs versus what we're projecting now. So if you look at it, Giordano slots in where Muzzin was. Muzzin slots down one, assuming he comes back. That's a positive in itself. That's a really strong left side. Labushkin's in for Bogosian, probably a push. Maybe one guy's a little better. I don't know. Labushkin's been good. He's got a 13-game sample size. He's been pretty decent. And then your depth is way better. The 7th and 8th last year were Dermott, and I don't know if you guys remember Ben Hutton, but he was our 8th guy. So now it's Sandin. I have Sandin not even playing, or Liljegren. So we're a lot deeper, right? But here's the challenge. If Muzzin comes back, and Muzzin is the old Muzzin, then our best 4 defenders, they all shoot left, and only one of them can play the right side. So, hey, that's great. During the game, he's got a good defender on the ice at every shift because a lefty is good. But when you shorten the bench to just 4, who sits? Of these guys, who's going to sit? Riley, Giordano, or Muzzin? One of those guys is going to be pissed. And one of those is your best 4 defenders. And they're not playing when it gets down to your top 4. But one of these guys is probably either Justin Hall or Labushkin, or God forbid, Liljegren, right? So your top 4 isn't your best 4. It would have been if you got the top 4 right D, which I was saying. And here's a couple of looks at it. If you added that stud on the right side, if Muzzin doesn't come back and isn't himself, it would be Riley and the top 4 guy you added on the right side, Brody and Hall. You're roughly equivalent to what you have now with Giordano in that top 4, right? Hall's still in it. Yep. But if Muzzin did come back, look at this. You had Riley, that top 4D, and then you could have a shutdown pair of Muzzin and Brody. That's really strong. So that's why I was advocating for the guy on the right. But hey, we're better. We are better, and I don't mind the forward they got too.
Yeah, all right, Katie. What do you think?
Well, Scotty, hit the nail on the head there. It's very true, and the great advantage is if we do get 221 Muzzin and he's back, that you always have someone trusted on the ice. And we've seen with Hall, he plays best when he's propped up, and we're really strong now on the left side. So I'm expecting actually him to be better all the time, because there's virtually no scenario where he's not going to play with Muzzin, with Brody, and or with Giordano. So I think you're probably going to squeeze out a better Hall because of this lineup. But as Scotty said, there's always curveballs in the playoffs, so sure. you're gonna have to see how that part goes, and we'll have to see. I'm as a forward, I'm growing up. I'm always concerned of this forward group, and I'm at the moment I'm actually quite pleased with what the defense looks like going forward. I'm just going to be real nervous about that second line. I just don't know what to do. I don't know.
Yeah, it's confounding. It's funny. There seemed to be a lot of D available, but when you went into trade deadline time and you looked for like a really decent, solid left winger that was out there, there wasn't really that much. It's particularly the guy we want, a straight ahead big guy who's decent, 200-foot game, but can score. And maybe elevate, the weakness from 88 on that side, and it just wasn't there. It really wasn't.
we should also backtrack and say also that really great right D, like there were more lefties available at the trade deadline for the price. Like like if you could talk about a Braun, but Braun's not as good as Giordano. Like he plays right, and maybe it would have fit okay, but Giordano is he's right up there as far as what they got.
That is fair, right? And he kills penalties. So now if Muzzin comes back and is the old Muzzin, you got your penalty killers, Brody, Muzzin, Giordano, and Hall, all big guys, all take up space, all are good. The penalty kills, if it's possible, should be even better. He is a good ad, don't get me wrong. It just doesn't fit quite as well.
Right. Yeah, and
agreed.
And I will say one thing, maybe before we move off this topic. Coach, you were pretty adamant, or made a great point, I think, about what are you doing when you're shortening the bench at the end of the game. If there's one thing Keefe really brought in, which is maybe a little bit different than Babcock. Babcock didn't write this stuff in, or Babcock kind of wrote this stuff in a Sharpie. Keefe will run his lines. He'll pick. He'll read the game and he'll see who's going the best and he'll make he's always done that. He breaks them up and so whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I think we can expect it.
I will say, Babcock would love Giordano. Oh, great player, good pro, real good pro, does things the right way each and every day. Eats right, plays right, practices right, has a beer the right way. Good pro.
Listen, folks, this is just a real quick reminder. We're going to be giving away Leafs tickets. What? Who does that? We do it. We do it right here for you, our beloved subscribers. Make sure you tell your friends, your family, your mom. Send them the email. Get them to subscribe. Ring the bell. Don't miss out. You don't want to miss out if we call your name. We'll be making that draw pretty soon. All right, guys, let's get into some predictions here. That's where we lay it all on the line, folks. The Leafs don't play until Wednesday when we host the Devils. So what's going to happen? KD, let's start with you.
I'm actually calling for a Leaf team that looks a little more like it did before Christmas. I think the D, with the new D structure, I see it being better. I think there'll be more onus on the second line. I like the kid they added to probably play on the fourth line, but we might see him moving around. So I'm seeing 1, 3, and 4 stronger, better in their own end. Fingers crossed about line 2, and I think a better job. So I'll call it 3-1 win. And I think they'll get back in a little bit more smothering D and a little bit more structure and go forward. Playoff hockey coming.
All right. Coach, what are you calling?
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to play well like they did against Carolina. That was a good effort. We gloss over it because they got blown out in Nashville, but I think that club's coming, and I do think they embrace the new guys, the moves that they've made. I call a 5-2 win. I'm saying Matthews scores again. By the way, guys, 10 shots Saturday night, 2 crossbars and a post. He was unstoppable.
They could have actually won the game. They could have won the game.
It's true. And I'm going to say that Colin Blackwell is going to become an instant fan favorite. A little ball of hate.
I like the call. I absolutely like the call. And listen, apparently some fisticuffs in practice today. So, once the trade deadline goes, that sort of angst that you're going to be sent out changes into something else. And maybe that kind of starts to get the magnets going and align the unit. I'm calling a 4-2 win. I'm actually going to suggest that Gio's going to score in his first game as a Leaf.
Nice. The place will go crazy.
Cray for number 55. Okay, there you have it, folks. We're all buttoned up here. Everything you need to know, we have it for you. We love you. Hit subscribe. We got all your Leafs talk right here on the OZone.
We have to love all of them.